Alright, this is very, very simple actually. This is the moon, and it is obscuring the sun, which is called an eclipse. Well, what are we seeing? The sun is behind the moon, and the sun is rotating, we know that, and we're also spinning, the whole system is spinning through the arm of the galaxy. And it's being ripped through there. So the sun is being ripped through all kinds of space, and here it is hitting the sun. And why are these red here and very energetic looking? And why is this not red over here and sort of just laying out here like this? This is really impacting. Well, the sun is spinning in this direction. As it crushes against the particles coming at it, they illuminate. And I think these are sunspots. Now, they may be raised spots on the sun, which would, to me, that's what's going to interact more, obviously. And they're very interesting to see. You see where they are? One here, and one here. It's like, that's pretty interesting that those three areas are the spots that have this kind of energy. Now, are they just accidentally in those locations? I don't know. Is it because of their geometric orientation? I don't know. But I can tell you one thing, it's going this way, spinning like crazy this way, causing magnetic interaction, creating the poles, just like we have, exactly the same thing, because it's our particles and the sun's electronic particles are spinning through other electronic particles, creating exactly the identical same interaction as a generator. It's a spinning particle, a charged particle, which is the sun or the earth, in a soup of charged particles, which in a generator would be the fields, and it's interacting and scrubbing those fields, creating these magnetic lines out the poles, the axis. Here's where you got the scrub, here and here, and this is the trailing scrub. This is the interacting scrub. More energetic, less energetic. Right? It's very, very simple when you understand electron flood theory, because the whole universe is completely saturated with particles. Every particle that's coming out of the sun, these are all particles. They're going somewhere. They just stop there. And sooner or later they hit something. When they hit us, they hit us. And when they hit other things, they hit other things. But in the meantime, they're just traveling unseen. And those unseen particles are these exact particles right here. And these exact particles right here. Photons and electrons, primarily. Then there's chunks, which they call cosmic rays, and all kinds of different chunks of particles. And there's actually matter. There's dust and sand. I'm sure there's all kinds of things out here. Well, I know there's comets, and the comets themselves are biological. I can show you, and I can prove it. All right, this is the biology of space. This is Comet 67P. This is literally the exact identical same gases that cook on your gas grill when you try to cook a steak. And if you didn't have any oxygen, this is the identical same chemistry that would come out. They're shooting out of the blood vessels. This isn't dust just blowing off. These are blood vessels that are blowing off the gases. And when the astronauts walk in space, they say it smells like steak. Hello, my friends. This is Roger once again. If I could prove to you that that is Comet 67P, but if I could prove to you that that was biological and it's in space, and that literally everything that I have found in space, and I have a meteorite here that is a biological body part, and I will show you in a second, but that is a tendinous ball. That is the muscle fiber bundle, and that is the tendinous fibers that run to a muscle somewhere. Now, that is giving off gases, and I will show you the spectral analysis. Now, here's your proof right here. This is exactly identical chemistry to a creature. Iron, silicon, sodium, hydrogen, carbon, methanes, hydrocarbons, It's exactly what it is. And they went out and they landed on there and they tested it and exactly what it is. And let me show you the anatomy, and nobody can deny it. Cannot be denied. Okay, my friends, that's not dust. That's gas. That is gases being given off by the literal cooking of the body fluids that were in the tubes that were the little blood vessels that run all the way around. You see they're shooting out here? Those are blood vessels. That's not just dust spewing off of there. And here is what these chemicals are made of. Exactly what you're made of. Here's a spectral analysis of mud fossils. The same thing. Ferrous oxides, calcium, silicon. I mean, there's some things they didn't test for there, but this is, sandstone is the very gritty silicon-ish stuff. There's a lot of silicon. See the Si, a lot of silicon in there. A lot of silicon. Now, all right, this is basically what they're made out of. And this is a giant fingertip. That's the distal phalanges bone silhouette there. That is the vein. That's the artery. Arteries blow out. You see it? Boom, boom, boom. They blow out because there is no clamps. The veins don't blow out, but there's a vein there, there's a vein there. There is the attachment of the ligament or the tendon that makes your fingers be able to do this. Now, there is also, I have a couple other fingertips here. Here's one that is decayed in a different manner, but that's where the blood would have blown out right there on the side. And you can actually see the blood. You see the blood right there? You can see that. You see the blood at the tip? Same thing. The blood at the tip blew out. The blood on the side is there. The other side is where the vein was. You see, this is the vein. That's the vein. This little hook, you see it? The same hook. You see that? Same thing. This finger and this finger are both fingers. Now, guess what? This is also a finger. You see it? That's exactly identical. Identical. You see up here? It's got the hook. It's got the hook. It's got where the blood blew out here. You see it? That's where the blood blew out. Now, why would blood blow out instead of harden up like here? This is a terrestrial one. This was on Earth, and it hardened up in this manner as a mud fossil. And that's a giant fingertip. I'm sorry, that's what it is. This came through space. Get any of your meteorite people to look at this. That came through space. When it did, it was still wet inside there, and the blood exploded out of here. It blew out of there, and that is the blood. And that can be tested right now. I'm done testing it, and as a matter of fact, nobody will test anymore because they were assaulted for doing it. This is identical. It has the same hook. See, it's got the same hook. It's identical. No difference whatsoever. Except this came from space. Everything that's coming out of space was alive at one time. That's all. I'm telling you right now. I've looked at a lot of them, and every single one I can see biology. I'm sorry. Just a fact. I don't think anything that came from anywhere is not biology. Now, where it all started, and is the universe just a growing thing? That's possible, because I'm going to show you what the universe looks like. There's all kinds of similarities they're seeing now out in the, from us, and then what the universe looks like. And this, my friends, is the most recent 3D map of the universe ever created. These are literal molecules, and these are the regions of influence that each molecule has, and these are the binding sites of the molecules, of the atoms that make molecules that make fingertips. I'm telling you, it's a biological universe, and I think it's just a growing thing. That's all I can tell you. Okay, my friends, I thought I had it locked down to the Schumann frequency, which is what the atmosphere of our planet vibrates at, the Schumann frequency. I thought that was what created the molecules, but it doesn't. It's the background radiation of the entire frequency of the universe. It's 432 hertz, they say. And it's said to be mathematically consistent with the patterns of the universe. It's said to be 432 hertz, vibrates with the universe's golden mean, pi, and unifies the properties of light, time, space, matter, gravity, magnetism, biology, DNA, code, and consciousness. I now agree with that. This frequency here, 432 hertz. I'm going to look at it a little deeper, but it appears that that is the frequency that sets up these frequencies that create these specific quantities stability. At 1837, a proton becomes a stable mass. So 1837 electrons, it locks in as a proton. So I think the whole universe is working at 432 hertz. And that's what shakes all of the vibrating little pieces in the universe. And when they shake at that 432, it gives the pieces the way to unify into molecules and atoms. And atoms, and then they go from atoms into molecules. But in every one of these, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of actual particles. All right, because every nucleus is made only of electrons. And the smallest nucleus there is hydrogen, and that has 1,837 electrons, because it has one proton. Then you have hydrogen 2, hydrogen 3, and they go up by 1837 to the 2 and another one to the 3. And in between, there's a whole bunch of numbers that can be floating. They call them stable isotopes, unstable isotopes. All it is more or less extra electrons in the protons, in the nucleus. And at that nucleus, it's a little bit unstable, it's a little bit less stable this way, a little bit less stable that way. Locked in at a certain number, it's very stable. And that's because there's so many extra electrons that we can create so much elegance in chemistry, and they never thought about it. Somebody should get a hold of me. I don't know. I'm about done bothering me. Forget about it. But that's what causes, now I feel, that frequency is what vibrates all of the electrons. Well, let me show you. All right, let me set this up for you. This is salt. It's nothing more than NaCl, which is highly polar. Okay, it has one side and the other side of the periodic chart. So it's basically like little bar magnets, see salt. As this thing shakes, vibrates, it's nothing more than going positive, negative, because that's all vibration is push to shove, push to shove. Push to shove is positive to negative, basically. Think of it that way. And so it's vibrating these little particles. Now, they're just going to sit there as particles shaking around until you hit a certain frequency. Then they're going to lock in. Right? Bang, there it is. That's hydrogen. Now, we're down to 345 hertz. 432 is where it locks in. Now, we're going to be going way up to 1033. Now you're seeing the rule of 8. But in between there, the 432, I think, is the background radiation that sets up the universe. Now, they're just going to keep going up and up and up in vibration, excuse me, higher and higher frequencies. As they do that, all they are doing is creating, just like this. The hydrogen was the one that had only that one little region around it. Then you went to this rule of 8, and then you get more and more and more and more complex. And every one of these is another rule of 8 zone. They're called groups on the periodic chart. And as you fill up all the electrons in the outer shell, it has to go to, like it fills them all up and then it has to go to the next shell. That's what this is. Helium and hydrogen helium and hydrogen fill up the lowest shell, and then it jumps up to the next shell, and then you got lithium, beryllium, all the way up to neon, and they have to fill up the 8 shell, and then you have to go up to the next one, and then you're up in salt and all that stuff. So that's how this is working. And then they go way up to extreme frequencies way up here. You see? But see the elegance of the pattern? You see it? Now, what's going to... There's a lot more to this, the electron flood theory and how these polar regions are set up. But I can create virtually the identical same thing right now. Watch. All right, you can see that these, I'm saying, these are the dark matter regions, and the zones here are the vibrating concussive zones, and they are. Now, I'm going to show you that that exact same thing happens in magnets. Magnets keep their dark matter in the center, and then they circle it with the zone of white matter, which is the concussive zone, and that's what this is right here. All right, this is just like one of these little regions. And if I put this around here, watch what happens. You see it? You see the white and around all of the dark? Identical to that. This is the electron portion. That's the dark matter. Now watch this. You see how complex that is? You see down here? Those are all magnets. They're all ball magnets. But they have the exact same thing. They have a dark region and then the light region. And here it is. Boom. I hope you can see that. You see the dark and the white patches there? The dark is the center of each one of those balls. Now, as they interact with other balls, the regions sort of flatten out and do the same sort of thing they're doing here. They're not all round. They're changing their geometry based on their interaction with the other particle that is attached to it. Now, this is, as far as I can determine, the only way these ever have became particles was because of bacteria. I'm telling you, bacteria creates enzymes. Enzymes invade and break. They're the catalysts that change molecules. And as far as I'm concerned right now, I got a feeling the universe is like, just like a growing creature. I'm going to leave it at that. You ever wonder what it meant, as above, so below? Well, I showed you the universe, and it means on earth as it is in heaven. God bless you, my friends.